Hey guys, I'm very, very excited that we are here. It's exactly 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m. in Nigeria, and I think it's 2 p.m. also in the United Kingdom, where our guest is meeting us live right here. I'm tempted to tell everybody that he's my friend or that he was my classmate when we were growing up because now that he's a doctor, a doctor in his name, he's kind of intimidating me. But anyway, but I'm very glad that we have Dr. Ben here. He's popularly called Uncle Ben. And today we are going to be having the first of the conversations because we're having conversations between October and November up until we get into December. So thankfully, he is the first in the series tearing this whole thing apart. And I know he's going to give us his blessing from the depth of everything that he knows, his experiences, his expertise. An amazing, truly amazing guy. So, Uncle Ben, thank you very much. Let me call you Uncle Ben, that everybody calls you. Anyway, I don't want to call you the name that we used to call you when we were younger, right? So
Stop it.
let me not spoil your your market. All right, thank you very much, all the way from UK. You are so there's something I've just learned from you. You are very time conscious, and I like the way that you're showing it in leadership. How you tell me this is when you're going to come on, this is what you're going to do, and you have taught me the art of actually putting down things and actually following them up according to the time. And thankfully, I'm glad you've been of great help to me for the past many years, and I think we have become so intentional in the past 4 or 5 years, and I'm really learning from you how to really lead in my life and in leading my profession. So thank you very much. I've already shared a whole lot about what you do, a whole lot. I've been writing series of posts. People have been asking me. I know those who are also going to watch this replay because we're going to replay this 2 or 3 times during the week, so a lot more individuals can learn from what we are sharing here today. But if there's something else that you want to share with us about you that we may not know, you can go ahead. Apart from all the things, your bio that I have shared over time. So if you just share with us in 1 minute, and then we can roll on this session.
Oh wow. What is there to share? Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be part of this. I have watched you. I've watched you just evolve. You've always been excellent, but the excellence has taken on an entirely new dimension, and for me, that's absolutely inspiring. Nothing is
Thank you for
more
that.
exciting than saying that successful guy. I know him personally, and that's what I have with you. So thank you for this opportunity. What is there to share about me? I think I will just put one phrase in, which is I will borrow your phrase, Emeka. I've got 9 lives. That's how you describe me once.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that in the next question. I'm gonna start asking you right now.
Because
Yeah,
I tend to put my finger in many different pies. So
I'm
yeah,
telling
fire
you. Yeah.
away.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Ben. I just want to ask what got you on this path because we went to FUTO together, Federal University of Technology, Owerri, before you ran away to the United Kingdom, right? So you studied industrial physics, and I know you cook, guy. You cook a whole lot of good foods, and you are into martial arts. You sing. I mean, your voice is something that is amazing, right? And you're also into hypnotherapy, and then you also, I know you worked for a company that I think it was Rover, right? And I see you go to, to teach and to lecture and deliver seminars at science exhibitions and science gatherings where you have a lot of scientists gathering together. And I'm asking, how do you combine and also what people really love you about is how you are truly building your family. I'm not like you. I mean, the exhibitions that you do about your wife. I mean, I kind of am jealous. I try to do that, but I don't know. You are teaching a lot of young people how to really marry. And it's something that is beautiful. People are learning from you, and I've watched you at interviews, and I'm asking, how are you able to do all these things? I remember asking you a question one time because this is the struggle that a lot of individuals have. They can do a whole lot, but they go for these sessions where they tell them don't do a whole lot of things. Do just one thing. And I can remember the question that you told me when I asked you this thing. You said something to me. If I don't give expressions to these things while I'm alive, is it when I'm died that I will give expressions to these things? I remember, and not
Yeah.
in the right words, but this was exactly how you said it to me. So, how what got you on this path? where you are now doing hypnotherapy, you're helping individuals to really connect to the depth of their essence and make them successful in life. And then for those individuals who are struggling with doing a lot of things, they call themselves that I am multi-talented or I do multitasking. All right. And then people telling them just do one thing so that you're known for one thing. How can you help these individuals? All right. So what got you on this
Okay.
path? Was that an experience? What did something happen in your life? Did you see something that made you say, no, I need to really help individuals to be truly successful? Just tell us, and then help individuals zero in to those who are struggling with all the many talents that they have.
Okay. Well, yes, I do a lot of things, and at a very high standard too. So yes, I'm a scientist. I studied applied physics and went up to the quantum physics side of things. And I still practice that. Yeah, I do psychology, psychotherapy, and all that, behavioral science. I do research. I do IT stuff. I do a lot of arts, applied arts, performing arts, um, planning, events planning, and all that. I do cooking and so on, massive event catering and so on. Right. Some of them I don't do as much as I used to do in the past. I do martial arts at a competition level, and I speak 12 languages. I'm into coaching. Yeah, there are many, many, many things I do. But the thing is, for me, life is for living, and that's what it is about. If you're not experiencing life, you're not really living it. How did I get uh, how did I get into this? And when you say this, I suppose you mean working as a life coach and as a behavioral
Exactly.
expert, right?
Yeah.
And you find that in life, as you go through the journey of life, you have a dream. So you were once, I know you, the bookworm and everything, right? And then you got into the oil company and you were doing really well. And one day you packed up and decided to do something else. You followed your passion and you became alive. Now, all the while you were doing your work in the oil company, you still had your passion somewhere burning. And this is the thing. Many people leave it to die and only discover themselves much later. I had a turning point when I met a man who was 65, no, 67 at the time, had just retired from Ajib and started doing different things with his life. And he went, gosh, I wish I realized this 30 years ago. And that stuck
Mm.
with me. I thought,
Wow.
makes sense, right? So as you're evolving in life, you are going to find flares, you're going to find interests, you're going to find things that catch your attention. The question is, what do you do with those? So for me, I have always, 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 always wanted to understand how things work, including people. And so I went to study physics because it was my first choice. I was the only one in the entire department that wanted to study physics first time, right?
Mm.
And I wanted to study physics not just because I was good at it, but I wanted to understand the rudiments of how things work. And that um, enthusiasm did not leave me. It went to people. I wanted to understand what made people tick. What is this really? And so even while I was an undergraduate, I was reading a lot of psychology books and all those things. It was my interest.
Mm.
I knew I had a calling there, and also somehow had a natural flair with giving advice that works to people. It would just come to me and I will give it to them and it will work and people's lives will change. And as I grew older, I thought, I've got to explore this. I need to understand what this is. It didn't feel like counseling to me. So I wanted to understand more. And of course, at some point in my life, as a scientist, working with Jaguar Land Rover, doing research, an opportunity came to do NLP, to develop in-house coaches. And that was when I took that chance and started my training and realized this is me. I'm alive right here. And I moved from NLP into all sorts. I had another 5 years of training to get to where I am. So yes, that's the thing. And then the second point you said is, to answer the first question is my genuine interest in watching people spread their wings and fly. That's what has really inspired me and driven me to get more and learn more and do more with regards to behavioral change work. And how do I manage all the many different things I do? Well, you said something when you say don't multitask. Yes, don't multitask. I don't multitask. Multitasking is the enemy to progress and the enemy to being an expert in anything. However, when we say don't multitask, we also do not mean don't associate with all the different parts of you. If all the body were an eye, where would the hearing be, right? So it means for me, know all the things you're good at, know how good you are at them, and where you need to learn more. And then ask yourself the question, what do I want to do with these things? Okay. I do MC events
Hmm.
professionally. There
I
was a
never
time I
knew
was doing
that.
that. Yeah, there was a time I was doing that every weekend, and I had a very packed up calendar. I would MC from weddings to all sorts of events, all sorts of occasions. Now I don't. Now I would do that for a friend, just for the fun of it, right? There was a time I did stand up comedy. Now I don't. Okay, because that's not
I
where I
never
am in
knew that.
life.
Really.
There
You
you go.
comedy, jeez.
Yes.
Oh my
So,
god.
this is the thing. You're going to ask yourself, what is this for? I no longer cook to do event catering,
Hmm.
but I still cook. I do fine dining from time to time for people. There was a time that was the main thing. But if you want to do everything at a certain level all the time, you wear yourself thin. It's being honest with yourself. What is the thing that is truly serving me now? Where am I in my place of optimum effectiveness now? I've got a
Hmm.
family. I'm raising my family, right? That's the most important thing to me. So I can be jetting off every Saturday to do MC somewhere, or start cooking for an event on a Friday or even Thursday, start marinating the meat days before and so on. I haven't got that capacity. Or if I do that, something else is going to suffer. So it's all
Exactly.
about maximizing your effectiveness first by being honest with yourself. Why do I want to do what I want to do with what I have? And
Hmm.
that's how I keep all the plates spinning. So from time to time, it depends on what it's called for at that time. So yeah, let me not talk too much on that.
Absolutely fantastic. I like that. And I believe that a lot of individuals who are watching will have gotten some form of value, and those who are going to watch this again on the replay. Okay, so the second question I want to ask, because let me veer in like this. So I've been working with this young lady that I met in Lagos, and when I listened to her speak, I found out that she's got a lot of great value inside of her. She's got gold in herself. And 2 days ago, she reached out to me to tell me that she met someone in Cameroon. She didn't go to Cameroon. She met the person in the WhatsApp group, and the woman was practically begging her to come train them on personal development, because some of the things that she was sharing, it was those things were like alien to the woman, and she was like, "Why don't you come teach us? I will get other women to come join us so that you can teach us." And then she asked her how much she was going to charge. This lady has always been giving out things for free all the time. She volunteers, she goes here, she gives stuff for free, she gives pieces of advice for free, she advises her friend, gives ideas for free. And she reached out to me and said, "How much do you think I can charge?" I put the question back to her and asked her, "How much do you think you can charge that will make you happy?" And then she said to me that she wanted to charge 5,000. I smiled because they wanted her to come on for 3 months. So 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. And I said to her, no, in my mind, something said multiply by 10. But I said to her, okay, why don't you do 10? Immediately I said that, she said, who am I? Am I worthy to charge that? There and then I saw where she had the problem. Her mind could not connect to the fact that she could charge that kind of money. And then a day after, she said to me, "Can I confide in you something?" I said, "Go ahead." She said to me that her father died a poor man. Her father gave everything in him. He was always teaching, he was always helping individuals, but he was not collecting money. And he died a poor man. It was only her mom that was even seen as someone who was, truly rich, because her mom was into some small businesses here and there. There and then I knew that the things of the past, maybe when we were growing up, have a way of affecting our lives right now that we are adults, and we are supposed to play certain roles like in marketing, in business, in our lives. Now the question is this: do you think, or how do you think that life issues and experiences, if there's a particular story you can share with us, affect how we do the things that we do now, particularly success in our lives, in our businesses, with regards to marketing and sales?
So a very common phrase you will hear is that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And some people try to argue that, but listen to this. When you build a house, you don't build roof first, you build ground up. And when we are born, the first 7 years of our lives, we are creating the template upon which we run our lives. And out of those first 7 years,
Mm,
the first 5 years are most crucial, and you can narrow it down to the first 3 years. And if you think about this, at this stage, the child is not really processing the world logically. So you're learning things, learning programs, learning ways of life without having any say in them. And those become the lenses through which you view life throughout. Now, imagine as you're wearing your glasses that they've got smudges on them, you're going to see everything through a smudge. And you
Exactly.
may be so used to that smudge that you don't even realize that that's not how those things look like until you
Mm.
take off the glasses and clean the smudge. I'm like, oh, it's brighter than I think. So this is exactly what happens when kids hear things around them,
Mm.
like even as silly as there's no money, we can't afford
Mm.
this, or oh, all those rich people that think they own the world, or
Mm.
and little things
I
like that.
bet as you're saying this thing now, remembering when we were growing up in Owerri, right? You know, when you see the market people, they go to market and they come back and you ask them, how was your day? They will always tell you that nothing happened. Let me use Igbo language. I'm wearing hemeren or a hair gown, means that they
Hmm.
didn't sell. And they keep saying this thing every day. And I'm like, when do you guys ever sell? I don't know whether they do it because you don't want to collect money, or I mean, you don't want people asking you for money or something. But then you see someone with a fine car that passes, right, with a beautiful car. Those days it was Lincoln Navigator, and
Hmm.
and then somebody will just say, your Guego means that they are frosters, or they are, and you see these things keep putting in our minds to tell us that. Then I realized then back then that that I had this thing about people having so much money as if they were sinners, because we had already connected our mind to the fact that those who have a lot of money are fraudsters, or they do money rituals
The
or something like
419.
that.
Yeah.
419 and all those kind of things. So as you were saying these things now, I just remember, because I have weaned myself consciously from those things that we used to hear.
Hmm.
But I know that a lot of individuals, these things have affected them and the way they see life right now.
And then you go to
So go
church and
ahead.
you hear things about, you go to church, you hear the widow's mite. You hear
Mm,
things about the other widow that I think it was Elijah or Elisha said, give everything you have now. Okay, now bring your cup and keep filling it up. N-
mm.
People don't connect with the abundant side of that story, but the lack side of it. And you hear things like
Exactly.
uh, uh, um, money being the root of all evil and so on. All these things
Yeah.
are programming that make people deep inside believe that they don't deserve abundance,
Mm,
they don't deserve any form of wealth or riches and so on. And that programming is deep. So every house you see, imagine the biggest of houses, beautiful, is standing on a certain foundation. And if that
yeah.
foundation is not great, no matter how you renovate it, it's going to come down at some point, or it's going to have cracks. So this is why the most important thing anybody can do for themselves as an adult is to reparent yourself, which means
Mm,
reprogram what you believe. Think about that from what is it that triggers me? What am I uncomfortable about? What are those things that I squirm at and I go, oh, whatever that is pointing right inside to something you're either repressing or something that you need to reprogram and heal.
mm,
And many people think that the way they view life is the way life is. But that's not
mm,
true. That's the way you're creating your own experience of life. Life
mm.
is not, I mean, look at this glass and it's got some water in it. It's, well, not really exactly half, but let's approximate half. You can say it's half full, you can also say it's half empty.
Yeah.
That's not the important thing. The important thing is from the perspective of the glass, it doesn't care. From the
Mm.
perspective of the glass, it can be half air and half water. It doesn't care. It holds both of them at the same time. So your
Wow. Wow. Wow.
limitations and your freedom are happening at exactly the same time. What do you choose?
Mm, mm, mm. Geez. So someone's freedom and limitation are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
You have to make a conscious effort to choose the freedom,
Where you
or you
focus your
remain.
attention. If you think
Mm,
about it, there's no up without a down,
wow.
right? They exist at the same time.
Yes.
Okay. So um, our
Amazing.
childhood
Amazing.
experiences from parenting, from school, from peers, from media, they weave what we build on. Now,
Mm,
being an adult really is about taking responsibility, your ability to respond, response ability.
mm.
taking responsibility of what's going on there rather than a reaction. React means act again. So when you're reacting, you're just making those things continue over and over,
mm,
and they will appear in different ways. In childhood, it will be a case of feeling jealous about those you perceive richer than you. In
mm.
teenagehood, it will be about categorizing yourself as good and others as wrong. In adulthood, it will be about self-sabotage. And then when you're
Mm.
running a family, it will be about imbibing same crap principles into your children and thinking that life
Wow.
is wrong. So it just
Hmm.
changes form, but it's the same thing. But you must take responsibility for where you focus your attention. Here's an example, because you call this mind hypnotics. I must drop some hypnotic inside this, isn't it? So let's think
Yeah.
about this. As we are speaking right now, and this applies to you that's listening to me right now. You are listening to me, you can hear me, you are paying attention to my voice. And as you're listening to me, here's something that's going on. You are completely unaware of what's going on at the back of your neck until I said so now. And your attention just went right there.
That's correct. I just,
Okay.
I just
And
began to think about what's happening at the back of my neck.
exactly. But guess what? As you're thinking about that, and I now say, what about your left foot? Your attention goes there instantly. What am I trying
Instantly,
to show
right?
you? Energy flows where attention goes.
Amazing,
Okay.
amazing.
So if you want the energy, the life force, your God-given ability to flow towards success, that's where it's got to place your mind on. If you're
Mm,
saying, many people will say, I don't want to be poor. There's something flawed in that statement. And I
mm.
will explain that by giving you an example. No matter what you do right now, dear listener, don't think about a pink elephant. Now, I guess that exactly
Yeah.
what you're thinking about is a pink
Pink
elephant.
elephant.
There you go. Because the mind does not process don't in that manner. It
Exactly.
would run the
Mm.
program and then negate it. But by the time it's running
Wow.
the program, time has gone. So if you're going, I
Mm.
don't want to be poor, the mind is processing poor.
Poor, poor, poor.
And the
Mm.
mind will go all the way to create, to fulfill that so that it can negate it. But by the time it's
Mm.
fulfilled it, you continue running that program, and a belief is a thought you've thought over and over again. And so, or a story you tell yourself. And once that is going on, a certain part of your brain for survival will go, oh, that's what this person needs for survival. End of story.
Mm.
And that becomes what it is. So your RAS is activated, which is the reticular activation system in the brain. That's the part of you where if you start thinking about a certain car, you suddenly start noticing it everywhere. Meanwhile,
Exactly.
those cars were there before, but you didn't zoom into it. It helps us zone in for survival. So when you start focusing on I don't want to be poor, your ROS will focus on poor and find you all the evidence for poverty. And
Hmm.
this is not motivational speak. This is science, neuroscience that I'm saying. I think you've got another question, so let me hold it up for now for a little bit.
Now I'm receiving some form of deliverance from all the things you've been sharing. Okay, that's amazing. That you see from what you just said right now, the thing just links to the third question that I have for you, right?
Mhm.
So I see a lot of individuals when we make posts on social media, right? There's a friend of mine, her name is Chioma. Sometimes she even puts that thing in her post. I know that you guys now will come and say it's not possible, it's not as easy as you said it, and all that. There are some individuals you make a post that gives them strategies on how they can truly overcome the problems that they're in, and then they come. They are always showing forth the negative side of things. They keep telling you it's not possible, it's not as easy as you say it. And I'm like, why don't you give it a trial first and foremost? Just give it a trial and see if you can have a shift or if you can have something happening for you. So sometimes I feel like these guys are just helpless. Is it that they are helpless? Is it a learned helplessness? Or they don't, because you said something about reparenting yourself, right? To reprogram. Do you think that everybody may have this ability
I think you froze for a second.
to be able to reparent?
So the question I think I'm hearing is, does everyone have the ability to reparent themselves? And the short answer to that is yes. Everyone has the ability to reparent themselves. And what do we mean by reparenting yourself in the first place? It means taking responsibility for what is going on in your mind. So people will read stuff and still don't think it will work and so on, because what they've rehearsed over and over and over in their life is things don't work. So um, a truck cannot suddenly become a racing car without a full overhaul. So those people who read things and they're reading it from the perspective of why it won't work, that tells me what thoughts, the quality of thoughts they've been having, they've been keeping in their minds and rehearsing all through their lives. And if you've had 30 years of rehearsing the same stupid thought, how do you expect that in 1 second that will change if you haven't decided to make that change? Okay, so something important here really is, when a post is made, is catering to different audiences, right? And some people are there with the mindset of, what can I learn here? What can I learn that will make a difference to me here? And others are coming from a mindset of, ooh, let me appear to be busy doing something about my life, even though somewhere in them they are too scared to take any step because no one has empowered them as children on to teach them how to do these things. Well, you no longer can blame your parents, you no longer can blame the system. You've got yourself as an adult to say, what is the quality of the thoughts in my mind? What do I believe? And one way to help in this situation is asking yourself, as you're reading a post and you're thinking of all those why it won't work, what if you can ask yourself, okay, why would this work? And sit with that question. Just sit with it. Don't look for the answer. Just sit with it. Keep repeating that question over and over. Why? Because something with the way the mind works is the mind will go off to find reasons for whatever you've asked it to find a reason for. So if you say what's even wrong with me, the mind will go off to find all the things wrong with you for you. And if you're saying stuff like, why is it that things don't work out for me? The mind will go off to find all the reasons why things don't work out for you. So if you change it to say to the other one, say, why will this work for me? Sit with that question, think over, ponder it, keep thinking about the question as you sleep. Your mind will find all the reasons why it will work for you. Everyone, and I mean everyone, and trust me, I work with so many clients, and I work with people who are very well established in life, and I've also worked with people who aren't. And one of the things I find common is in them is that everyone's got all the resources you need within you to succeed. All. So I'm not going to be giving you an extra resource. However, I will help you discover that resource. Everyone's got it. It's a bit like if I have mud inside this water and it's all mucky, all I need to do is allow it to settle and you see the mud and see the water. So you've got it, is right there. You have the ability to reparent yourself, which means throwing away mindsets and beliefs that are not yours, that you didn't give permission to run in you. Okay, think about yourself as a program, as a computer. If you open Microsoft Word to type, you're looking at stuff and typing words. That's just the output of a certain program, a certain software that's running in ones and zeros behind. Okay. Now, the quality of what you can do with that application depends on the code running. And if that application keeps freezing, is the code that should be fixed. So go and fix the code of your life and you have an entirely different experience. How do you do that? Well, there's a simple template. One is thoughts lead thoughts create feelings. Feelings lead to actions, and actions inform your life experiences. And I'll break this down. Thoughts, and when I say thoughts, I mean storylines, beliefs, mindsets, viewpoints, perspectives, all these things. They will create feelings. Feelings are chemicals in your body. So thoughts are flying all around there, mean nothing until you do something with them. Okay. Think about if you have clay. With that clay, you can use it to mold anything. You mold a cup and then smash it, mold a plate, smash it, mold an apple. The same clay. That's what thoughts are. Thoughts are raw materials. They don't mean anything until you give them energy. Okay. And once you give them energy, they will create feelings in your body. Feelings are chemicals in the body. All right. And now those chemicals will lead to action, which will then inform your life experience. If you are walking in the dark somewhere and you're walking past a shrub and you see something that's rope-like and moving, and you go because you're thinking, "Ooh,
Snake.
snake." That thought of that must be a snake creates the chemicals in your body of adrenaline and cortisol ready for fight or flight. And that will lead to the action of maybe you run, and the experience will be the experience of fear. It will not be a good experience, right? Or an experience of
Exactly.
anxiety. On the other hand, you're walking through the same place, but it's a place you don't know, and you're feeling a bit lost. And you see that movement and thinking, could there be someone there? The same movement, but a different thought. The feelings you have in your body they will have different chemicals surging through your body, and even some endorphins will surge in because you're thinking hope, and that will make you lead to some action of anybody there, help, which will lead to the experience of hope. The same thing, but different interpretation. Okay, so go if you want to change your experience. People will say change what you do, because if you do the same thing the same way, expecting a different result, you're mad. But then, from a scientific perspective, changing what you do could change your experience, but only temporarily, because what you do is determined by a whole lot of other things. So if you want to change your experience, go right back to what you think and what you believe about that event or that thing. All right. So let's going back to the Facebook posting. You see a post and you feel this limitation. This, oh, I can't do this. Pause. Let that feeling lead you to the thoughts that's producing it by asking yourself, what must I believe now about this for me to feel the way I feel?
Mm,
What must I believe now for me to feel
exactly.
the way I feel? So action and reaction, right? Equal and opposite. Yeah,
Mm.
the consequences. So if I'm feeling somehow,
But
there's something I
Dr.
believe.
Ben, I want to make you understand something, because that's where I see that helplessness. You see, this question that you're asking is intentional. And I ask myself, what must I? Who must I connect with? It comes with intention, your decision to say, let me ask this question. Because as you begin to ask the question, you begin to see the shift happening. But people I've come to see have not really got to that point of saying what, or asking that question that begins to lead to the feelings
Yeah,
and the
but
interact and all that.
that's exactly why we're having this conversation, and they're tuning in, they're
Exactly.
listening. Okay. So
Yes.
anyone that's listening in here and you want to make something out of this situation, then you have to be really be intentional about how you ask yourself these questions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will be another reaction. It will be another, oh, that was a very lovely talk, and then you remain in
Exactly.
your in that crap
In that
situation which
depression.
you don't like. And you see, some people say, how badly do you want what you want? um I don't subscribe to that quite a lot, because you can want it so badly. You can want that Microsoft Word to type in beautiful font so badly, but it won't until the program is changed. So want it to have
Yeah.
whatever you want it. If you don't take some action, nothing will change. And how do you take some action? You're going to know that it's all happening here, 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 right? Here, before here, even here. And why am I pointing here? Well, the concept of head is top, is on the hierarchy structure is right at the top, and so on. Why? Because what's going on in your head is leading everything else going on in your life. And it doesn't matter how many quotes you have, until you go inward and stop blaming anyone for your problems, you won't
Hmm.
find a solution. But if you go inwards, you find a solution. I was when I deal with anger management clients, and you hear things like, yeah, this is always triggering me, it's always making me angry. I say to them, well, something is triggering something, but what is triggering is inside. It's not triggering it externally. So can we go inside to find what is being triggered and why, and sort that out? So you should be thankful for those things that are triggering you, because they're pointing you to the poison you're carrying, which you need to sort out. But oftentimes it's easier to externalize and blame, which is a
Exactly.
high, should I say, is the advanced form of laziness. And I'm not blaming you for being lazy, because no one taught you. But now you're listening, you're learning, you're hearing, you're taking it in, and you're going
Somebody,
to
some
actually
people
take
say,
action.
some people say it's Adam's curse, because when they say Adam, why did he eat the
Well,
fruit?
that's another blame,
Eve.
right? Look at it. We're still blaming someone right there. Adam is
Exactly.
dead and gone. In fact, Adam might as well not be a real person. We just don't
Hmm.
know. But you are here, right now
Mm.
in a situation you are not enjoying, not living your best life, not fulfilling your purpose, not really having fun. Why? What's stopping you? What is stopping you? And for any reason you bring out, ask yourself the question again: why? What is within my control here? You may not be in look, last year I had a fantastic year. And last year was the same year that many people had all sorts of issues. And when the pandemic hit, I was scared, as everyone
Mm.
else was. Okay. My work depended on me working with people face to face, running events and so on. And suddenly I now have to do things remotely. But I took
Yes.
on the challenge. I thought, what can I learn here? How can this serve me? And suddenly I was seeing people from all around the world. My diary became filled up. There was a 6 month waiting time. Things became so busy just because of the same thing, the same system I was initially afraid of. But I took a step. I said, why not? And it opened me up to people that would never have heard of me. Right. So, but I could have easily been blaming the pandemic and the situation, the lockdown. We can't go into work. We can't travel. We can't. Meanwhile, there's a simple question: what's that you have in your hand?
Mm.
What can you do now? What's within your control? I cannot control the pandemic, but I can control the story I tell myself of my own effectiveness, regardless of the situation. I don't know if this is making any sense. People, come on, hit
Amazing.
me up. Let me know that you can hear me.
Amazing. No, we are seeing a lot of stuff. People are saying, so a society saying the blame game is a lame game. There's a question, but I will take it at the end of during the end of the session. This one is reiterating what's going on in your head, is leading everything. So we've got comments. I know you're not seeing it from that end, but I'm seeing all the comments that are happening
Right.
here. Amazing stuff going on. Okay, so now this leads us to the main. Okay, somebody is telling you you are making points, sir. That's Akeem Baker.
Thanks, Akim.
Yeah. Okay, so that leads me to the key core thing that we wanted to talk about today, right?
Hmm.
Regards to marketing and sales, because this is the first of the conversations. I'll be hosting other individuals who have sold, 100 copies of their books, 200 copies, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, to understand their strategies and everything. But we wanted to really start first and foremost with the internal, because when the internal is gotten correctly, then we can layer on upon it other things, that the gimmicks, the strategies, the whatever, the schemes and all those other things. All right. So what is the role that the mind plays when it comes to marketing success and sales? And I know you've worked for companies, you've worked with, you've coached high performance individuals. Can you share with us the role that you've seen? Maybe you've worked with a company, they wanted to increase the revenue that they are getting from the sales of their products, but then you've noticed that the individuals who are there, maybe they are dealing with certain fears, dealing with certain programming from their childhood and all that. And this still has a role. I mean, the mind is a central point for all these things. Also, what's the role that the mind plays when it comes, and how can it help those who are listening to be able to reprogram their mind? Like, for example, the lady who said she couldn't charge them what I told her to charge. But do you know that this morning she said to me that even with the 5K that she charged, she's gotten 5 people to pay. And she's telling me that she would love it to be up to 10 so that she can use the money to pay for her son's school fees. And I was like, yes, it will happen. If you believe it, you're going to get up to 10 people who will pay. And this is a fresh experience for you. I know that after this, you're going to get better and better at what you do. So, the role of the mind when it comes to marketing success and sales, with regards to your
Okay.
experiences working with a lot of high performance individuals.
I'll approach it in three ways. I'll mention three things that I find really, really great. Of course, we've already established that it's all in the mind.
Exactly.
Okay. All in the mind, all about what you think. Thoughts and thinking are different things. Thoughts fly around. Thinking is what you make with those thoughts. So,
Mm.
the first part of this is um, the blockers, which we've alluded to. So many people have different blockers based on childhood programming. And when you have the blocker, you're stuck, and you may be stuck for a long time, right? So I do ask people a question. And I remember asking you this question sometime, which the question I asked was, how much is too much? And
Mm.
when you ask people that question, how much is too much? The initial reaction, I always find it interesting. Some go, I never thought about that. fact, 99% of people I ask haven't thought about it at all. And then they give me a number. Let's say I ask you how much is too much, and you say $10 million, and I say, okay, do you think you deserve $10 million? And then we watch the response. Some people will say, yeah, why not? And I say, okay, so how are you sure that you don't? What makes you so sure you don't deserve $30 million? And then you start seeing where the limits occur. So shifting the limits is one way, because when people market themselves, one of the things they market themselves within the confinement, the limitation of how much they think they deserve. And this is why you find a lot of people give away free stuff. They don't have the confidence to charge for their services, or to charge well for their services, because they don't see themselves as deserving of that much money. And this is a learned behavior from childhood, when your parents would not give you stuff, maybe because they can't afford it themselves, right? But they almost make it look like you don't deserve it. You don't deserve more than what you have, as opposed to, it's not your fault that you haven't got this, but you deserve better. Two entirely different things. So the blocker is
I,
one.
I think it's at this point that I can tell everybody about my story and how you've helped me this year. So you remember I came to you this year and I was like, I don't like that I'm at this earning point. The things that I'm earning, I need to step ahead. And then you said to me that you were going to do a session for me. I was like, okay. So when we got into the session, and then he took me into a trance. And hey, guys, this is not abracadabra or anything. The trance is just for you to go deep down into yourself. And I realized where the problem was, how I had seen the things that were blocking me from making, taking the next step, with regards to my finances. And you told me, and to tell you the absolute truth, after that session that I had with you, where you connected, where you saw what I was dealing with in my childhood, and when I traveled to Italy, and then connecting everything to how my finances were not growing because of the way I was thinking about life at the time. Okay, let me just share that, because I realized when it happened. So I saw myself when I watch certain movies and I see the protagonist or the actor in certain environments that are just normal environments, like having a one-bedroom apartment or two-bedroom. I was at peace. When I see movies where I see this individual is living in affluence, and I'm like, he's young. Why should he be living in that kind of affluence? Because I felt that my reality was not supposed to be that way. You get what I mean? Like, for example, when I see movies in Nigeria that are done, and you see someone who just left school and is in living in a mansion, and you're like, no, the person is supposed to start from a one-bedroom apartment. I mean, even a self-contained, where he's staying with toilet and bathroom, and then from there to one-bedroom apartment there. So I felt that my mind was like, why can't someone who has left university live in a mansion? Is there any problem with that? No, no problem because of the thing. So when you made me see that connection, that was when I broke free. And I can tell you that absolutely because you've been telling me when you see my posts, you see the things that I do, there's a lot of confidence, and you see the things, the way I'm changing things
I
and
I
all
mean,
that.
you've
And
you've moved from where you were to where you're going, and it's only starting. So, and this is
exactly.
because of that first part, the blocker
And let
side
me
of
let me
things.
let me tell you something. I don't know if I should say this during this session, but then someone reached out to me yesterday,
Mhm.
and we started having a conversation. She made a comment on my post, and then we started having a conversation. And she said, "Emeka, your book we sell can sell in America, and I think that we can republish it there and get it into so many stores, and then you can come to the US and have sessions with us and teach us." I'm like, whoa, I'm like, whoa, what's happening here?
Why not?
And then immediately that thing happened. I remember the picture that you posted where you were in front of all the white people and you were teaching them. I'm like, this can be me. I mean, I can be in the US and I can go on tours, I can go to radio stations and I can teach the things that I
People
know
can pay
without feeling
expensive tickets to come and
expensive.
listen to you.
Exactly.
That picture you're
So
referring to,
mm,
people came from all around the world for that
mm,
event. You know,
mm,
paying expensive tickets to hear me. I'm
mm.
repeating that event next week, actually, right?
Wow.
So
Wow.
it can happen, and this is not because there's nothing like luck in this matter. Everyone is lucky, even
Mm,
if you think you're unlucky. The word unlucky has more lucky in it than unlucky. Okay,
mm, mm,
the on is only two letters. The rest is lucky. So stop the excuses and stop saying I'm not lucky. You are lucky. So that's
Hmm.
the blockers, because it's learned. The second thing that I realize with people is, with marketing, is value. People sometimes undermine the value they place in their products, and this is always as a result of the value they place in themselves. I have a personal story. I worked with a client some time ago, and this client had a very horrible case of anxiety and went through all sorts of interventions, and nothing worked. And then someone referred them to me. They came to me, and in a short while, I sorted this person out. So much so that some other physical ailments that came with it disappeared, and so on. Oh wow!
Wow.
Now I charged a certain amount, which I thought was, because I'm not on the average charge for my profession. I'm actually towards the high end. So I thought, yeah, this is all right. And then this guy turned around and says to me, I don't think you charged me enough for what you did
Hmm.
for me. Can I pay double?
Hmm.
I learned from that situation right there. So I thought to
Wow.
myself, oh, he said, can I pay double? And he paid double. Instantly, I realized, okay, the blessing here is people will pay for the value they perceive from what you do. So if you're
Hmm.
marketing value, that's what they will pay for. And they will
Wow.
pay whatever that value is. So what value do you place on what you're offering? What value can you create in the lives of people? Emeka has been writing books, but now he's taking it to another level, not just telling powerful stories that change minds, but also helping other people get into that. So it's not,
Hmm.
you're no longer a thought leader, you are an authority. And in fact, you're beyond an authority, you're a value provider. And so if you run a book marketing event now, people will pay tickets to attend your event because they are going to get value from it. All right, the caliber of people you are bringing in your talk events and so on, that is value. So if you want to market your product, dear listener, think about value, because people will pay for the value. All right. So I stopped people from smoking, right? And someone can go to the local hypnotherapist down the road and pay £30 for one session to stop smoking, and go through maybe 10 sessions or whatever, and maybe stop and start again. And then you want me to work on the same thing with you. I charge you £1,500, and I fix the thing in one session. And after one session with me, you do not smoke again for life, but you've been smoking for 35 years before then. How? So, and because I know what I'm doing, obviously. But then the main thing is, what will make you pay 1,500 for the same thing you could have paid £30 for, is because of the value and the speed and the fact that I don't deal with a habit. I deal with what created the habit in the first place, and every other thing falls out. So when you know the value you're offering, offer that. People will pay for it. Market the value, not the product, the value. And the third
Hmm.
thing I find is strategy. So when I work with organizations, say, oh, we want to increase our sales by so percent. So, okay, give me your top salespeople, and then I will uh, model them and then install that strategy in the less performing ones, and they will all perform the same way. What I mean by strategy is we all do things in a certain way. And remember, I say the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if you're not good at, let's take a secondary school case, right? Someone is horrible at geography, but is excellent. Oh no, horrible at mathematics, but excellent at geography. Look at how the process by which you learn geography, map it and apply it to mathematics, you will get exactly the same um, results. So strategy is, what do you do when you wake up in the morning? What's the first thing you do? Do you grab your phone first, or do you actually pause and breathe and connect to I'm alive,
Hmm.
and be in the moment, right? And create a picture in your mind of who you are. What are your success steps? What are the process you go through in thinking about your product? And then go and learn from people who are doing it very well. Look, break down their steps. Forget all the emotional sentimental nonsense about, oh, maybe you can help me, I wonder how you can teach me. No, leave all that crap. Ask specific questions about the process people take. Emeka will share a lot of his strategies online. He will tell you, share his notebook where he's writing things, and you can see how his bullets and how he atomizes things. What have you learned from that? Copy that, do the same thing. Is a strategy. Break the strategy down, not the content, not the exact stuff in what he's doing, but the process the structure of it. That's why you can build an estate and all the houses will look the same, because they are using the same architecture, the same structure. Learn the structure. That's the strategy. And every strategy is replicable. And once you replicate it, you get the same level of success.
Amazing, amazing. We have just 5 minutes to go. I may not be able to take all the questions, but you've done truly remarkably amazing job to this whole thing. So we have this question. See, she asked, Susa is asking, are there exercises that can help one in changing those limiting programs? I think you've shared it before.
I think I've answered this, yes.
Yeah, I think you've answered that. Okay, so let's wrap up on this. My final question: do you think that folks who are talented should author books? Those who have experiences, who have expertise, and do you think that they should author books? Because that is this is the starting point as we begin to go into other conversations in the coming days and weeks.
Only author books if that's what your flair is. If your
Okay.
flair is not there, don't. Because if you author a book that doesn't sell, and you're authoring the book so you can sell it and make money and stuff, you will feel like a failure. Emeka writes books and that works. Okay, therefore I must write a book. Is it really your flair? If it is, fine. If it isn't, then find another way to tell your story. But I do believe people should write books. Put that knowledge, that information in a book so that others can read. Can you author a good book? That's what's more important, not just a script, right? If you pick Emeka's current book and pick Profound Life, it looks like it's written by different people. And I have all your books.
Why did you have to go there?
So
why did you have to go there, man? For God's sake.
Right. So yeah, that's my answer. I think one word to really sum it up is trust your instincts, trust yourself. You're not disadvantaged. Look inwards and really go with the flow of who you are. Get help where you need it. Learn, study, unlearn, and relearn.
So much to consume. Thank you very much, Dr. Ben. We just have 4 minutes to go. As I said, we're going to get this exactly at 55 minutes and we are done, because I know you're jumping into another session. You jumped in from another session to this one, and I'm very grateful for your help. So are there any final things that you want to share with us in the next 2 minutes? And we'll call it a wrap here.
Yeah, the main thing I really would encourage everybody to do is, one, take responsibility. You are responsible, full stop. And the biggest thing you can do is here. It starts with what you can imagine. Before you get up to go to the fridge to take something, you imagine it. Even though it happens in a split second, you imagine it and your body prepares it for it. Before you go to bed, you imagine it. Before you eat, you imagine it. Use your 5 senses. Imagine things. Really see it. Don't just visualize it. Add some emotions to it. See it as if it's happening. And ask your mind questions like, why should I have this? Speak in terms of what you want, not what you don't want. A client comes to me and I say, what's the problem? And they say, I don't want to keep getting angry. Then I'll say to you, well, you just told me what you don't want. What do you want instead? So what do you want? Do you want to be able to manage situations better? Do you want to feel at peace all the time? Do you want to be happy? What do you want? What does that mean to you? Go inwards, ask yourself these questions. Take your own bull by the horn. And here's the thing, it will always work, because that's the nature of life. Trees don't grow by spreading the seed upwards. You plant the seeds that way and they go down in, and then they sprout. So go inside and then you can shine in your world. Remember, the sun does not struggle to shine. The sun does not know that clouds exist. The sun does not know that nighttime exists. The sun just shines. So clouds will come and pass, the sun is shining. You are like the sun. The sun is a star. You're a star. Shine. That's what stars do.
Amazing. So, guys, please let us begin to drop words in the comments for Dr. Ben. How has this session been for you? Please, one sentence of maybe 10 words or 15 words. Please, let's drop it in the comment section now so that I can bring it right there on the screen to thank our guest for today, all the way from the United Kingdom, where he is. Truly remarkable guy. Got lots of things on his desk, and he took the time to come here today to share this with us as part of the foundation for the conversations we are going to be having. All right, guys. So please let me see your comments to show your gratitude to Dr. Ben so that we can shoot. We have just 1 minute left before we let him go. So yes, so Anthony is saying, yeah, the sun doesn't struggle to shine. Fantastic, right? Victor said, shine. That's what stars do. So go ahead, guys. Drop your comments so that I can bring them on the screen and Dr. Ben can see them. So Dr. Ben, Joseph Philip is saying, thanks for this amazing session. I am the sun. I don't struggle to shine. Fantastic mind shift there. All right. So Olufemi is saying educative. Yeah, thank you very much for coming to this session and for participating. All right, guys. So Duru Viola is saying I've learned a lot. Thanks, Dr. Ben. So go ahead and truly utilize what he has shared. See, guys, the things that he has shared today are the things that people are spending thousands of pounds to listen to him. But thankfully, he's here to be a blessing to every one of us. So it's actually my first Facebook Live. Wow, Basira,
Whoa.
do you really mean that? I'm glad. Hey, wow, that's amazing, really. All right, so Akim Baker is saying the session has been a value added moment. All right. Cyril Wem said, thank you, sell the value, not the product. All right. So thank you, everyone. Dr. Ben, thank you very much for this session. God bless you all the way from here in the city of Port Harcourt in Nigeria. Thank you for all the good work that you've been doing. Thank you for delivering me myself. And I know you've delivered a lot of individuals. Yeah, even though you're not a pastor, but you have done lots of
You can pay
deliverance for a lot
that,
of
I'll
individuals.
collect.
All right. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm truly, truly grateful. God bless you.
It's my
And to
pleasure.
everyone,
Thank you. Thank
and
you.
to everyone, these conversations will be happening every Tuesday and Thursday. I will bring in other individuals to come here to be a blessing. Thank you, Dr. Ben, for breaking the veil for us and giving us the way to push through for from now to the month of November and December. God bless you and everybody. Goodbye.